Welcome to the What Is She Even Reading podcast.
I'm Claire, and I love to read.
I'm Jeremy, and I don't.
Join us each week as we read through some of today's most popular books as Jeremy discovers what is she even reading. Hi everyone, welcome to the What Is She Even Reading podcast. I'm Claire, and it is just me today, no Jeremy. So happy 2025. And with the new year, we are changing the podcast up just a smidge. So if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice that you can actually see me, hopefully. If not, the video didn't work, and we will try again next week. But we're going to switch it up a little bit, have some more games, do some more one-on-one reading talk. And don't worry, we will be back with Court of Wings and Ruin. I think we're just going to do it in one episode, maybe two, just to kind of see if that format works a little bit better. I feel like, I've read it before, obviously, but Jeremy gets on a roll and then he has to stop to record, and then, it takes a couple days for him to pick it back up, and then it's kind of over and over and over again. So we're going to try New Year, new podcast, I guess. So let me know what you think. But we have a couple of fun things planned for the podcast in 2025. So we hope you're excited, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. So today's episode, again, is just me, Claire, and we are talking about 25 books that I want to read in 2025. And this was very difficult because first off, there's way more than 25 books. My reading goal is personally 50, which I did not meet in 2024, so I'm really hoping to meet it in 2025. But I was trying not to include, whole series, because that would take some series are really long, so it would take the whole 25 books. So a little bit more difficult, but let's jump right into it. So the first book on my list of 25 books I want to read in 2025 is A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young, which comes out today on release. When you're listening to this podcast, it's out. I am very excited. I don't know much about this book. I am typically one that I don't want a ton of spoilers. Sometimes I think even the tropes are a little spoilery because it's to be expected. But I loved The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young, which was magical realism. I just said I hate spoilers for tropes, but I just gave you one. But, so I have high hopes for that. I don't know much about it. I just was like, yeah, I need to read that just because I like the author. The second book is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I think everyone is anticipating this book. It comes out January 21st. I'm a little nervous. If you can hear rustling in the background, it's my cat who has been sleeping all day until I decided to record. But I really, really loved Fourth Wing. I liked Iron Flame. I know some people were very, very disappointed with it. So I'm curious to see what it's like, how she does the cliffhanger that she left us on. I honestly don't know how there can be 3 more books, counting Onyx Storm, since it's supposed to be a 5-book series, but we'll see. Yeah, I hope we go somewhere new. I feel like the last 2 books were kind of very similar, so we'll see in 2 weeks what that one's all about. And don't worry, we will be covering that one on the podcast as well with Jeremy. I think it'll just be, again, one big episode on Onyx Storm versus broken up into smaller parts. So the next book I'm adding to my list is Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. And I'll go ahead and put in a blanket apology if I mispronounce these authors. If you've listened to the podcast, you know I struggle with pronunciation, honestly, in my day-to-day life, and then throw in some unusual names, and even common names I mispronounce. So I think it's Kristen Cicerelli, but could be wrong. That one comes out February 18th, and it is the second book in the Crimson Moth series. It's only a duology, which honestly, these days I'm kind of enjoying because you read one, you read two, and you're done. I feel like sometimes when they drag them out, I don't remember what happened in the first book, you know? So I'm excited about that one. That one was kind of a fantasy romance, enemies to lovers. Again, I said I hate tropes being told, but, you know, so you get a little vibe. It's very, I felt like it was good to read in October, but this one again comes out February, so I'll probably read it then. But the fourth book, these are also in no particular order. So these are some of the newer ones, and then I have some older series towards the end. But the fourth book is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. It comes out February 4th. I have read most of Ali Hazelwood's books. The most recent one was Bride, which I know was kind of like a controversial book. I enjoyed it, but I like fantasy books. I get why some people didn't. I have read her academia romance books. I do appreciate the STEM romance as a STEM girly myself, but I think this one is about swimmers, so I don't know how I will feel about it, but yeah, we'll see. I'm adding it to my TBR, so we'll see. The fifth book is Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This comes out March 4th. I have read the other two in the Rose Hill series, like Wild Love. I don't remember the other one, but I first got into like romance reading with the series that like follow, like they all take place in a town. So I really enjoy these type of series because you see other people from the previous books, like kind of cameos and stuff, and you see how they're doing, and you know, you get to know some of these characters. I don't know who this one is about, but I'm excited. I have enjoyed those. I know she has another series that I read the first book in and I didn't really enjoy it. So, but maybe I need to give it another try. Probably should have added that to my list, but I'm excited about that one. Number 6 is Great Big Beautiful Life. I keep wanting to say Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. The Disney girlies, if you know, you know. But it's The Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Comes out April 22nd. This might be controversial, but I don't love Emily Henry. I like some of her books. I have not read the one that came out last year, which was Funny Story, I believe. I liked Book Lovers. People We Made on Vacation was fine. Some of the others have been okay. They're not super my type of book, but I probably will. I need to read both of those, to be quite honest. So that one, and honestly, the Funny Story is on my TBR. So need to catch up on those. But the next one I'm so excited for is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Comes out April 1st. Oh my gosh. I had been putting off reading I had read the first 3 in Abby Jimenez's books. I don't know their names because I cannot remember anything, like Happily Ever Playlist and stuff like that. But I read, oh my gosh, Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer last year. And oh my gosh, I loved those books. I devoured them. I think this is another one of those that, like, you don't have to read them in order, but I think it's helpful too because some of the things in Just for the Summer are from Part of Your World, and they interconnect, and you get to see people from all of the stories, and like some things were like a true callback, and I was like, I don't remember, you know. Anyways, I'm very excited about that. She also has a little novella that when I was doing this research, it came out last year, so I missed that. So I need to also go read the novella. I don't know the name of it, but I'm very, very, very excited about that one. So, and I think a lot of people are. So if you haven't read any Abby Jimenez books, I highly, highly, highly recommend them. I'd say start with Part of Your World or the other 3 books that her previous series. You don't have to read them in order, but again, I recommend you do. If you want more information, I'll link the blog post that I have that goes over like the order of reading them and why you should read them in order. So the 8th book is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. The next book, this is a duology. The 2nd book in the series comes out this year. I don't know what day. Let's see. It comes out May 13th, and it's called A Curse Carved in Bone. But I have not read A Fate Inked in Blood. I bought the book. It sits on my bedside table, and I have not picked it up. But I loved The Bridge Kingdom, which is also by Danielle L. Jensen. So I'm excited to pick that one up. Again, I love a duology these days because it's so easy to read. Just 1, 2, you're done. You don't have to remember anything. Sometimes you get a little bogged down. So I'm excited to read that and then jump into the sequel in May. The 9th book is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. That comes out also in May 20th. I don't know much about this other than Rachel Gillig wrote the One Dark Window duology, which I loved. And to be truthfully honest, I only read One Dark Window. I need to read Two Twisted Crowns to finish that series because, again, the first one came out and then the second one came out the next year and I completely forgot about it. So I need to go read that one, but I did enjoy One Dark Window. I thought it was very, very unique. She had a unique magic system, a unique time thing. It felt very cozy, mystery, stormy. It was like a good fall read, which a lot of the fantasy books I feel like are kind of cookie cutter sometimes, but this was very different and I really, really enjoyed it. So I will definitely be reading The Night and the Moth when that comes out in May. The 10th book I want to read this year is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, and we're going to have a whole episode next week on the Cosmere. I'm so excited that one of my goals for this year is to read the entire Cosmere by Brandon Sanderson, which is like 24 books, I think. 24 things to read. We'll have a whole episode next week if you want to join me and like what the order I'm using and all the things you need to know. But I'm so excited. I've just started this one. I just got it on my Libby today. And so I read like 3 pages and I haven't gone back to it, but I'm very excited. I hear lots of good things, and yeah, I'm excited to start a huge fantasy series, especially because there's no news from SJM when she's going to drop another book. So I felt like I need to put my energy into a new author, new series, just to try something new. But more to come on that one next week, so make sure you come back for that. The 11th book is Immortal by Sue Lynn Tan. Comes out today on release day when you're listening to this. I know, again, nothing like the cover. I am excited. It sounds intriguing. Go look it up. My 12th book is also by her. I have never seen this author. Maybe I have, I don't know. But she also wrote the Celestial Moon series, which are 3 books. The first one is Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I think this involves I've read a lot of series synopsis, but definitely go check those 2 out to add to your TBR. They're fantasy. The covers are beautiful, and I can be swayed by a pretty cover. But they have really, really good reviews on Goodreads, which sometimes is how I'm like, must be worth it to try out. So especially over a 4, definitely have to try it. So I'm excited about those 2. The next book is The Crown of Oath and Curses by Jay Bree. Again, some of these, they've been on my TBR because I just see people recommend them and I just add them. I don't even look at them. I like to go in a little blind. So if you want to know more about that one, definitely go read it. Check it out. It's called the Mortal Fate series. I believe there's 3. I've heard there's Cruel Prince vibes. I'm intrigued. And if you want the trope, it's enemies to lovers, apparently. So I know I keep saying I don't like the tropes, but all I've done is given you the tropes. But it's the best way to describe it, you know? But I'm excited about that one. These next kind of several I don't know much about. They've been on my TBR since September probably, but they have great ratings on Goodreads. They've come highly recommended by people I trust. And yeah, I just am like, let me read it. Let me try. I did my this is a side tangent. I did my 24 books in 2024 that were like my highest rating books, and most of them were romance. I think I only read 3. No, I read more than 3 fantasy, but I feel like it was only like 6. And I love romantasy. I love fantasy. I've loved them for a very, very long time. And I felt like I didn't read a lot of it last year. So I'm excited to get back into it. So that's why there's a lot of fantasy on this list, because I feel like I've been a little out of touch and I'm behind on some of these series that have been out for a while. So the next book is The Mad King and the False Queen by Hope Abram and Amanda Abram. It's a romantasy book. That's all I know. I assume they're sisters who wrote it. Sound intriguing by the description. So, and again, love a fantasy romance, so that's an immediate add. Let me read it. The next is The Will of the Many by James. I'm gonna mispronounce this last name. Islington. I don't know. Islington. It's hierarchy number 1. I don't know. I can't tell you anything about it. Sounded good when I read it, so I added it to my TBR. The next book is The Tribute of Fire by Sarion Wilson, and it's The Eye of the Goddess number 1. I believe it's a trilogy, but a lot of people have read this. I've seen it all over TikTok. Gotta read it. Gotta know. It's again a fantasy book, maybe a romantasy, don't know. But okay, the next ones I do know a bit about. Those were kind of in the middle of oh, that one sounded good, let me add it. So the next one is Air by Saba Tahir. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. This one comes out, no, it's already out. I have requested this on Libby months and months ago, and I am still so far from getting it, so I might just end up buying it on my Kindle because I've been waiting to read it. I started her series, The Ember and the Ashes, and I really, really, really loved it. And I was like, where has this been? It's been out forever, and no one ever talks about it. I think Callie over at the Common Shop talked about it, and I was reading it at the same time that she it just kind of came back up. So that's my next book, is also by Saba Tahir. I'm on the 3rd book. I am trudging through so slow. I don't know what's into me right now. I'm kind of in a reading slump. But I have it on Libby, so I need to finish it. And I have the 4th book on Libby. And you know that thing where I honestly don't even have them anymore. I have my Kindle on airplane mode, because they returned them, but they saved on my Kindle. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to return them because I'm not into it right now. I'm very much a mood reader. And I went to look to see how long, I'm reading the 3rd one, which is A Reaper at the Gates. The 4th one, I don't know the name of it, but I went to look to see how long it would take for me to get it again. And The Reaper at the Gates was going to come right back. So I was like, whatever. The 4th book, it says my library doesn't have it anymore. So now I feel like I have to finish it because I have it on my Kindle, but I really, really want to get into other things, but I need to finish it because I will not come back. So that is probably my number 1 right now, is to finish A Reaper at the Gates and the 4th book in that series, just to finish it. I loved An Ember in the Ashes, the book, book number 1. Book number 2 had a very big cliffhanger at the end, which was they are YA fantasy books. Highly, highly recommend. Definitely go check them out. They're older. They're from a couple years ago. Maybe 10 years ago. I don't remember, but definitely go check those out. Okay, my next book is Manacled by Sinlin Yu. I hesitated putting this on here because it is off, I believe, of AO3 or the Archive of Our Own, because Sinlin Yu is actually writing a book this year, so she took it off of, this is fan fiction. in case you didn't know, I know this one has gone around. I've had it for a while. I just haven't read it yet because I think I might be emotionally devastated and I need to be ready for that. And I'm kind of a little scared, but I want to read it this year, especially because she has another book that's supposed to be similar to Manacle, but obviously not the Harry Potter people. So coming out this year, I believe. So I want to read it before her next book comes out. So if you don't have it, I don't know if you can read it anymore because it's not on Archive of Our Own. But if you've read it, motivate me to read it because I'm scared. Because I feel like everyone's like, I don't know what to do. And that makes me nervous. Okay, we have 5 more books. So, 6 more books. We have 6 more books. Number 20, Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This one blew up on TikTok several months ago. To be quite honest, I tried it. I started reading it and I got a little bored. But I also am very much a mood reader, so I want to give it another shot because people really talk highly of it. And I think something's happening with it. TV show? Movie? I don't know. But I do want to read it this year just to see what all the hype is about. And again, I'm entering my fantasy era. I must read some more fantasy. So the next book, it's kind of along the same lines. It's Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. This is one of the ones, like, I want to read the series, obviously. But I didn't want to take up the whole list with just those books. But I believe they're on Kindle Unlimited. Again, don't know much about it. Just added it because everyone else says to read it. I'm excited. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I just keep putting it off. So, story of my life. But number 22 is Blood and Steel by Helen Schuer. Schuerer? That can't be right. Just ignore that one. Yeah, again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I literally just add things to my TBR that sound good because people recommend them. So this is another romantasy, I believe. Excited about that. Number 23, Defend the Dawn by Bridget Kimmerer. Again, I'm so sorry for my pronunciation. This is Defy the Night number 2. I read Defy the Night a month or two ago. Really loved it. It's like a YA fantasy romance. There's a sickness in the kingdom and it's good. I don't want to give it away, but I've been waiting for this one and the third one to come up on my Libby for a month, which is a long time, I feel like, when you're wanting to finish this series. But it kind of ended on a cliffhanger. Not really. But I'm excited to read that one when it finally comes up on my Libby, or I get impatient and just buy it. So, we'll see. Number 24 is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I've heard really good things about this. I think it's a trilogy. I, again, know nothing about it. I know it's a fantasy book. I don't know what it's about. I've seen it around for a while. I just have never read it, but several people have come up on my TikTok and Instagram saying to read it. So I need to read it. So that's on my list. And number 25, not last but not least, for sure, is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I think this one went around on TikTok last year. It's just another fantasy book. I'm excited for it. A little bit different. Starting a new series, that kind of thing. So that's my 25 in 2025. I'm very excited, especially because they're all, for the most part, fantasy books. A couple of the beginning are romance books, but I'm very excited for Mistborn, Say You'll Remember Me, and probably, honestly, Onyx Storm. We'll see. I'm a little nervous, but we'll see. So those are my top 3 most anticipated to read. They're not even like, some of Mistborn has been out forever, but I'm excited for those. In the comments below, let me know if I've missed anything. Sorry there is no descriptions on any of the books, but I'm leaving it open for you to look it up so I don't spoil anything for you. And make sure you subscribe, and we'll be back next week to talk all about Brandon Sanderson and reading through the Cosmere. So, and don't worry, Jeremy will be back the next week. I will let you know. We're working down a schedule on when we're going to release that ACOTAR episode. It's either the 21st or the 28th. I believe it's going to be the 28th because we have something fun for Onyx Storm release. And then we will read Onyx Storm sometime in the next month to talk about that. So don't worry, the same content will be here, just a little bit different and with some new stuff, which I'm excited for, and I think it'll be fun. So see you next week to talk all about the Cosmere. Ooh. Bye.